Yesterday we talked about how one of the most common lies about the devil is that he doesn't exist. Today I want to address the second, I think, one of the more common lies about the devil. And that is this, that maybe people believe that he exists, but they have this weird idea that somehow he's on par with God, right? That they have like the same power, that they're the same level of power. But this just isn't true, and you can see this time and time again, right? Remember, the devil is just a creature. So they relate to each other in the same way we relate to God, creature and creator. There's no possible way to compare the two of them, especially in terms of power. Satan's very powerful, but every movement he makes is governed by God. God allows Satan to interact with us and to tempt us because it's part of the mystery of salvation. That, there's a test on earth that we have to pass. But to say that Satan's power is anywhere near on par with God's is just crazy. See, God's power is completely and totally infinite because he is the creator of all things. He is infinite. Satan is just a creature. The powers that he was created with are the powers that he has. Very incredible, sometimes you see them, but they're just the power that he has. God rules every inch of this universe, and his will is what wins the day. So you can't even really compare the two. And I think for many of us, we worry, we see what's going on in the world, we see what's going on in our families, and we tend to think like, whew, man, Satan is really powerful. We have to make sure that we keep in perspective that Satan's power cannot even be measured against God's power, that God's power is totally and completely infinite, and that every move that Satan makes has to be allowed by God for this great test that we're in. We see this constantly in the ministry of exorcism and deliverance. You see in the movies, right, there's this crazy battle between a priest and the devil, and who's going to win. But that's just not true. If a priest knows what he's doing and they're standing in the person of Jesus Christ, they walk into that room with the whole church behind them with God's power, and there's no power that the devil has at that moment. They stand no chance at all. God runs that situation. Satan can't do anything that God does not allow. And so don't ever let Satan tell you that he's as powerful as God, that somehow he can even be compared with God. If we stand with God, we stand with infinite power. God lets his power flow into our lives, and only through that are we more powerful than the devil. Because the devil receives everything just like us. He can't move a finger without God's permission. Today we talked about the lie that the devil and God are somehow equal in power. Tomorrow, we're actually going to talk about engaging in the spiritual battle. We'd love to hear from you. What are some questions you have about engaging in spiritual warfare and gaining victory? Comment below or send us an email. We want to hear from you.